We've seen a ton of small-scale RC car and truck releases lately, but not so much for boats until now. ProBoat is showing the segment some love with this new Recoil 2 18-inch brushless Deep-Vee, and everything you need to hit the water is inside the box. Let's take a closer look. The graphics look pretty sweet, right? That's because ProBoat has teamed up with their partners Shreddy and Heatwave again to give us two different liveries on the boat. Obviously, I got the Heatwave version, which I think is pretty rad, and then they also have the Shreddy version, which is a primarily black boat. Now, before we get into the features of the boat itself, let me show you what comes in the box. So obviously, you get the assembled boat. You also get a Spectrum SLT3 radio system. It's a 3-channel radio, and that's because the 3rd channel on this operates the self-righting feature. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. It also comes with 4 AA batteries, a Spectrum 1300 milliamp LiPo battery pack, which is actually a 3S pack, so this thing is gonna move. They give you the Spectrum S120 charger, and then of course you get an instruction sheet, you get a ProBoat decal, and a 10% off coupon for Heatwave products. Now let's take a closer look at the boat. So here's a closer look at the 18-inch Recoil 2, perfect for small ponds. If you have a larger pond to run in, you probably wanna check out their 26-inch Recoil 2. That's what this boat is modeled after. And then if you have a large lake to run in, that's when you wanna check out the Shockwave. But look at this thing. Love the graphics on it. It's actually, I believe, printed on. It's a bit different from what we're used to seeing, which are decals. Then the hull itself is a hard ABS plastic. It seemed that the deck and hull split here. And then there are a couple spots on the bottom where you can see some molding marks and some key marks where they seam everything together. But the hull itself, when it's all together, seems really rigid. And it is a bit different from the 17-inch Recoil that we saw before. They made a lot of changes since then, a lot of welcome changes. I like the new canopy on top, just the shape of it, and secured in the back by this one twist clip. And let me pop this up so you can see. They even gave us foam on the bottom of that. That's absolutely awesome. I've been on docks where it's been a windy day and the canopy's blown off into the water. So it's nice to see they have some foam there. And then in the hull area here, they have a rubber strip around there just to help keep water out of the inside of the boat. Before I show you the inside, let's go around to the business end of this. They've got trim tabs and turn fins on both sides. These are bendable trim tabs, so if you need to tweak and tune, you'll be able to do that. Look at all the aluminum on this. How cool is that? The strut is aluminum, as well as the mount, and then the rudder mount and rudder itself are aluminum. Just really nice sharp edges on everything. Even the strut, there's a little bit of sharp edge on the front of that. And then the rudder itself is a breakaway style, so they have a little channel here. If you hit a stick or rock in the water or anything like that, this will help swing up so it doesn't break anything on the boat. You can see they've got a steel push rod there with a ball linkage at the end, rubber boot to help keep water out, and then a composite plastic rudder. The shaft going into the boat is actually a flex shaft. So it's not a straight shaft, which is what we're used to seeing on cheap boats. There's a nylon stuffing tube in there, and then they've got an aluminum coupler. Might as well work our way into the boat. So they've got a composite plastic mount that secures the motor mount, which is aluminum. You can see the water cooling lines going in. That will help keep the motor cool because it's an outrunner style motor. They can't run a sleeve around it because the outside of the motor is turning. But it looks like a pretty solid setup with all the screws holding everything down. Located in front of the motor, you've got your battery tray, simple Velcro strap to hold it down. And that's really about it for the boat itself. Time to talk about the electronics. So they got a 13-gram waterproof servo to swing the steering, and a SR315 receiver. I'm really excited that there's a Spectrum receiver in there, a dual protocol receiver. It's a good receiver, but according to the website, it's still not waterproof. So that's a negative for me on this. And then over here on the other side is a 30 amp water-cooled Spectrum speed controller. You can see the cooling lines running out of that, and then a waterproof switch. I like that they've hard mounted that. And finally, we have the Spectrum 2950 kV outrunner motor. Love the chrome outside on that, and you can see on the front it's got a black ring. That's actually your weight ring. So when you go and press the 3rd channel on the radio system, if you flip this boat over, that weighted system will help right the boat. So that's obviously a nice feature. So now it's time to head out and run the boat. It's actually February right now. There's snow on the ground. It's 33 degrees. So hopefully I could find a pond that isn't frozen over. All right, guys, found some water to run in. because it's February, everything is frozen. But I knew this pond had some running water, and I got a little bit of space to get this thing up to speed. There's top speed right there. Let me swing it back around. Yeah, that thing's quick. Super responsive too, pretty stable. I've only rolled it once so far. But man, look at that thing. That looks good on the water. This is straight out of the box, no trimming. Nice tight turns. Settles back in once it gets, oh, uh-oh, nose dived it. That was cool. Pop right back out. Let's see if I can flip it for you guys. Nope. Quick spin out. Oh, nope. It's hard to get this thing to roll over. I wanted to show you the self-righting feature again. Nope. All right, we'll go back to just doing ovals. This thing is just a rip. Oh, there we go. Now I can do the self-righting feature. Hold down the button. Look at that. Flips itself right over. How awesome is that? This is perfect for small ponds. Absolutely. Now, according to the box, it goes 25 miles an hour. It should run about 7 minutes. I think I've been running about 7 minutes actually, so I should probably bring it in. I don't want it to get stuck out on that ice. Gotta be open with you guys. I only ran the one battery pack through it. I went back the next day and the pond was frozen over a bit more, just making things pretty sketchy. And the water was low, so I didn't want to hit anything and possibly lose the boat. But did get a good feel for it. Obviously, you could see it is a ripper. I mean, this thing is very quick for its size. Just a lot of fun to do figure eights with. And then when the water does get choppy, it does launch into the air. It's submarined a couple times, but with a small boat like this, that kind of adds to the fun factor a little bit, as long as you recover, which most of the time I did. I was actually trying to flip the boat over for you and wasn't able to do it. Spun it out, which happens, but it's a tough, rugged little boat, obviously. What I like about small boats, you know, beyond just being fast, is they are very responsive. Kind of darty, so you gotta ease your way into driving one if you're just getting into RC boats. Keep your turns wide. Got a really good price, 200 bucks, gives you absolutely everything you need to run except for water and a USB-C port for the charger. But for that, I really wish that they did something with the receiver. I like that it's got the 315 receiver in there from Spectrum, but that really should have been covered. If any water gets in there, it could damage the receiver. Now, after my one run, I did take the campy off the boat and there was no water inside. So there was that. I think it's got a good seal to it. The other thing I would have liked to have seen from ProBoat, and I would like to see this in some of their other boats as well, is just some maintenance type stuff. A couple tools so you can remove the flex shaft and maybe even a little grease to grease it, because that's part of maintenance you're going to need to do with this. And the other thing is a spare prop. It's got a composite prop on it. It would have been nice if there was one extra. I'm sure it would have bumped up the price a little bit, but just kind of things I would have liked to have seen in a ready to go kit like this. Nonetheless, absolutely a lot of fun. Can't wait to drive it more once the water thaws out. And if you're interested in getting some more information on it, I'll have links for everything in the description below. And if you have any questions, hit up the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you.